Well, good evening and welcome to EBN Weekend Edition. My name is NJIIRI, and in a couple of minutes or so, we'll be looking at the stories that made the headlines today. But first, let's get the highlights. Clean Bill of Health. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta's breathed sigh of relief as Supreme Court terms SGR contract legal. Don't stress the students. Government now directs school heads not to conduct class sessions past 3:45 p.m. I will sue you. Former ODM chairman John Mbadi now threatens to go to court, claiming passing of finance bill in parliament was unprocedural. Another record bites the dust. World cross-country champion Beatrice Chebet shatters a 24-year-old meet record. Now, welcome back. Now, the Supreme Court today nullified the Court of Appeal ruling, which dictated that procurement laws were flouted in the 500 billion standard gauge meter railway deal between Kenya and China. The five-judge bench, comprising Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu and Justices Mohamed Ibrahim, Smoking Wanjala, Njoki Ndung'u, and William Ouko, stated that the procurement process for the standard gauge railway project was undertaken in conformity with the provision of Article 227 of the Constitution. The article provides procedures and efficient public procurement and for asset disposal for public entities.
The Chinese government themselves say that is nonsense, that it doesn't exist. Yeah, I am telling you, it doesn't exist.
It's not
all right. You want a copy of the contract? My friend, I'll get it to you tomorrow. And if you prove your point that it exists, that there is anywhere on the SGR, okay? By the way, today, leo hii tukiongea, yeah? 2018 ile tulikuwa tumekubaliana na wale ambao ni wa China ambao walitupatia hii mkopo, tulikuwa tuwe tunasafirisha 6 trains kati ya Mombasa na Nairobi. Leo hii, my friend, tumefika kiwango ya 2020 where we are moving approximately 11 to 12 trains every day. My friends, we are ahead of our payment schedule. Ahead, yeah, of our payment schedule. Na hii ni mambo kama mwataka, kwa sababu hakuna kitu ya kuficha. Bandari iko hapa, mgoje wacha tu.
Well, that's a clip where the president had promised the media, or the country for that matter, that he was going to make public the deal between China and Kenya in as far as the SGR was concerned. Meanwhile, Education Secretary Ezekiel Machogu has today directed that teaching in schools should start at 8 a.m. and end at 3:45 p.m., which includes designated break times. In a statement, the CS directed school heads to ensure that teaching hours account for a total of 6 hours. The CS emphasized that the allocated time was sufficient for effective teaching and learning. Furthermore, the designated timelines would allow students ample opportunities for independent reading and engagement in extracurricular activities. Machogu said the ministry provides for a maximum of 6 hours teaching, noting that the education of learners should be natural and not forced. The CS explained that the several countries in the developed world had fewer teaching hours and still met their targets. He said Finland, for example, has a 3-hour teaching regime, yet it is reputed to have the world's best class system of education.
I want to make one other thing very clear, and that is that we have also set the time that our students in junior secondary schools should be in school. We have gotten back to the normal school calendar right from primary, junior secondary, up to senior secondary. I have noted one thing which is not supposed to be done. The normal school calendar, as given out, the normal school day should start from 8 a.m. up to 3:45 p.m. We are subjecting our pupils both in primary, including those who are in PP1, PP2, into unnecessary struggle, because I've seen areas where they start their school day at 7 a.m. and they end it at 5, even other schools at 6. We have given very clear instructions as a ministry and taking into consideration the coverage of the syllabus. The syllabus will be adequately and properly covered from 8 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. Let us not subject our students, let us not subject our pupils to unnecessary mental torture, because we are subjecting these young ones to a lot of mental torture. You find
well, you know, hearing the CS talking about the number of hours people should be in school, I actually started wishing I was in school right now, because we used to spend so much time in school, but he's now talking about just 6 hours, and that includes even the lunch break. Now, nominated MP and ODM and former ODM chairperson John Mbadi has threatened to move to court to have the Finance Bill 2023 annulled over illegalities in its processing. The chairperson of the National Assembly Public Accounts Committee regretted that the bill was tabled before the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndung'u could table the 2023-2024 budget highlights. Now, according to him, a financial expert, the government's revenue-raising measures should be approved by Parliament after the budget highlights have been presented. Now, MPs on Wednesday voted 176 against 81 to approve the bill in its second reading ahead of Ndung'u's budget highlights yesterday. A finance bill preceding the national budget highlights representation is what Mbadi termed an illegality. According to Mbadi, the government should do things according to the law and immediately withdraw the impunged bill and conclude the money process in line with the law.
The majority side had no justification in pushing for vote on a finance bill in the rushed manner in which they did. It is anticipated in law that debate on the bill, and indeed any voting, would have succeeded the budget highlights by the CS. Therefore, the budget highlights should precede the debate on the finance bill. The growing tendency by Kenya Kwanza to attempt to win Kenyans must just stop. They must do things according to the law and immediately withdraw the impugned bill and conclude the money process in line with the law.
A very interesting conversation by John Mbadi. Now, there's a group of people who are saying the reason why he called for that press conference is because his name was among this list. Among the 28 opposition members belonging to the Orange Democratic Movement, or ODM, who are facing disciplinary action for alleged defiance against the party's stance on the Finance Bill 2023. The Raila Odinga-led party has summoned the MPs who are absent during the voting on the second reading of the Finance Bill on Wednesday, as well as those who voted in favor of it. Roypan Shikuku has more.
In a letter presented by ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, the party has received complaints from general members regarding the conduct of its National Assembly members during voting of the Finance Bill 2023. Consequently, the party has initiated disciplinary measures against the MPs. After voting yes towards the Finance Bill 2023, Nairobi City County Woman Representative Esther Passares said she has been and still is an ODM member. She affirmed that she is grateful of the support the ODM leader Raila Odinga has given her, but she reiterated that it's her responsibility to work with the current government so as to meet the needs of the people she represents. Even after emphasizing that the finance bill's agenda is to amend the constitution through the back door, Rarieda MP Otiende Amolo did not avail himself in the parliament to put his words into action. Together with Esther Passaris, other ODM MPs who voted yes towards the Finance Bill 2023 are Wajir South Constituency MP Aden Mohamed, Game Constituency MP Ochieng Odhiambo, and Suba South Constituency MP Karoli Omondi. Therefore, the MPs have 48 hours starting from yesterday, the 15th of June 2023, to respond to the notices explaining why disciplinary actions should not be taken against them. Roifan Shikuku, EBN TV, Nairobi.
Well, Chief Justice Martha Koome and Siaya Governor James Orengo have called on Kenyans to ensure that they safeguard the independence of the judiciary if the country was to make strides in development. The two say the gains made in ensuring a judiciary that served the Kenyans equally did not come on a silver platter, as many lives and property were lost during the struggle. They were speaking at the Siaya Law Courts after the Chief Justice opened a new High Court building. Justice Koome said that the journey towards a people-centered justice system was no small feat, adding that it calls for understanding the unique need and challenges of Kenyans so as to tailor their approaches to meet their needs.
About the rule of law, respect for one another, and living in harmony, in peace and unity. As we inaugurate the High Court building in Siaya, we are not merely unveiling the building of brick and mortar. We are unveiling hope, and we are unveiling a symbol of justice and of our unwavering commitment to bringing justice closer to the people. The launch of this High Court building is a manifestation of the ambition of the principles set in our Constitution about social justice that we've been able to deduct.
Constitutional dispensation to be clawed back. I don't want to take for granted ever in my life the importance of an independent judiciary. And I've lived to it to see the difference between an independent judiciary and an executive controlled judiciary. So in your able hands, and those of your colleagues in the judiciary, whether you make decisions that we like or we don't like, the most important thing is we should never, never, never lose that battle again, where we have to fight for a free and independent judiciary. Because it cost a lot of lives, a lot of people suffered for it, and if we fail as a nation not to have a free and independent judiciary, all else will be impossible to achieve. Peace and working institutions, and that I know we will strive as Kenyans to make sure that we continue to protect the judiciary and make sure that the only power,
And it's truly indeed true that justice is something to fight for. Quite a number of people lost their lives during the struggle to ensure that we have a system like we have today, where you can go to court and actually get justice. Now, this is a story that got quite a number of people talking on social media, and most of them were not saying very kind things to members of the Mandera County Assembly who have rejected the new offer by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, or SRC, to give them a 10,000 shilling pay hike. And they've vowed that they're going to continue with their go-slow until their demands are met. Led by Ouagadougou MCA Bishar Mukhtar, who's also the minority whip, the MCA said that they will stay away from the assembly until their demands are met.
MCAs have been agitating for their rights as state officers, as similar as the state officers as other national state officers. And what they're asking is not in vain. We need them to listen to us. There is the transparency and fairness in that circular that SRC put forward yesterday. How can they increase some salaries for a section of the MCAs and then leave the others? There's no fairness and transparency into that. And to add salt to the water, SRC added a gross salary by 10,000.
We therefore call upon all MCAs countrywide to come out and reject the new proposals by SRC in totality. The main agenda why we have closed assemblies is in order for the government to legislate issues to do with the World Development Fund.
Well, probably this is one thing that will take us a very long time as Kenyans to understand. Maybe we've gotten used to it, because by the time the MCAs and our leaders got into the position or went for the elective seats, SRC had already set the salaries that they were supposed to be paid. So now they've gotten into office and they're demanding for more. I think with that, we need a short break so that we can think about it. And for residents of Mandera, that's something to think about. You can call back your MCAs and get people who are willing to work for you. They are servants and not bosses. Let's take that break.
From Nairobi, Kenya, this is EBN TV.
With great love and joy, I specially welcome you to worship with us at Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu. This is a true family church, a true spiritual home. Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu is home to exuberant prayers, deep and true worship. A house of prayer that will leave you feeling refreshed. Our first service starts at 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. and our second service starts at 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Wednesdays, we have our midweek service from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and every Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. we have our night of glory. This is the church you have been looking for. This is the place for your spiritual growth and maturity. See you this Sunday and karibu sana.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe, watazamaji wa EBN. Kwa majina naitwa Pastor Julius Mutuko, na nataka kukaribisha kwa kipindi ambacho tutakuwa tukisikiliza neno la Mungu kila siku ya Ijumaa na Jumamosi kuanzia saa 3:30 jioni hadi saa 4:30 kila siku kwa lisali moja, na hivyo tukiangazia true worship ama kuabudu halisi, ambapo tukiangalia Biblia kitabu cha Yohana 4:23-24, Yesu alipokuwa akiongea na mwanamke Msamaria alimwambia wakati unakuja ambapo watu watamwabudu Baba katika roho na kweli, kwa maana Baba ni roho ama Mungu ni roho, na yuwatafuta watu kama hao ili wakamwabudu. So jo nami tukaweze kujua kuabudu halisi ni nini kwa siku hizo. Karibuni nyote in Jesus name. Asanteni.
Welcome back. Now, they say you are what you eat, and truly, stakeholders from the private sector, government and civil society have conducted a meeting at the inaugural annual Kenya Food Processing and Nutrition Leadership Forum, where a food fortification index was unveiled. The Cereal Millers Association, or CMA, launched the Fortification Index in collaboration with the international non-profit TechnoServe to address malnutrition in Kenya. Dubbed the Kenya Millers Fortification Index, or KMFI, it aims to bolster local flour millers' commitment to producing nutritious and sufficiently fortified food products, with the intention of scaling the initiative to include other staple foods. Sylvia Kemunto with that report.
Food and nutrition security is among Kenya's Big Four agenda. Following research from the Kenya Demographic Health Survey, rampant stunting has decreased from 26% in 2014 to 18% in 2022. To contribute to achieve this agenda, the Cereal Millers Association has launched a food fortification index together with the international non-profit TechnoServe to help deal with malnutrition in Kenya. The Kenya Millers Fortification Index focuses on supporting the local flour millers to generate nutritious and fortified food products, providing a self-reliant expert group and product quality testing to assess fortification and aflatoxin levels against national standards. This index was disclosed from a meeting held at the inaugural annual Kenya Food Processing and Leadership Forum, where they talked about various issues including the role of the millers in supporting nutrition and addressing shared challenges. Consumers are urged to participate and start demanding more nutritious food, since this will be some of the ways they can increase fortification. Reporting for EBN TV, Sylvia Kemunto.
Well, that's definitely a good thing. At least we'll be eating food that is fortified. Elsewhere, Kilifi Governor Gideon Mung'aro has ordered all grabbed beach access roads to be opened to the public. This is after an outcry by residents that some investors had grabbed beach access roads, hence making it difficult for members of the public to access the beaches. Mung'aro further ordered for the revocation of all title deeds issued on riparian land along the Kilifi beach, saying this was against the law. Recently, a section of residents of Malindi town stormed the grabbed beach access road near the defunct Patapata International Club, making it difficult for other investors to develop their beach plots.
Tu ambaye mfanyabiashara amefunga barabara ya beach tutavunja. Kwa hivyo yeye achukue warning kutoka kwangu. Kama umefunga barabara kwenda baharini ya wananchi, tutaifungua na greda. Na doza.
Ona huyu amezibanjia. This is just a caretaker, you azibanjia. The same problem you having here is the same problem you having the other side.
Hii njia tulikuwa tunapita bila wasiwasi wowote. Lakini to my surprise, leo naona kumewekwa mawe hapa. What is this? What is this?
Sasa kuna watu wanajifanya wababe, wana pesa, wanatuzibia barabara, wanatuzibia sisi opportunity ya kazi kama vijana. Je, wanataka tuwe?
Well, let's fight land grabbing with all our strength. Huduma centers have been praised for offering credible services that have suppressed corruption in the country. Speaking during celebrations to mark 10 years since the inception of Huduma centers in the country, Narok County Commissioner Isaac Masinde said citizens are served faster without being asked to pay for bribes. Commissioner Masinde asked public servants to serve citizens wholeheartedly.
Hali naweza penda tukue na more support, and I know the center manager has raised it with you. Ni mahali ya hii service ya visual channel tunaitanga mashinani. Yes. Huduma mashinani is one of those very underutilized service models that can, with the right support. Because this staff wanahitaji tu lunch peke yake. That's it. And they can go to any corner of this county. Any corner of this county. Watabeba machines kutoka hapa. Okay? Na transport kidogo ni transport, yani gari, physical gari. Ingia kwa gari, tutabeba machines and we go and we offer services there. That's a model we are trying to encourage. If we can get the support from the county government and any other partners from a county commissioner, so that wananchi wa hii area, okay, they get to feel what it means to get the services that they require, because I know for sure the demand.
And finally, in sports, world cross-country champion Beatrice Chebet yesterday night continued Kenya's bright show at the ongoing 2023 Diamond League after shattering a 24-year-old meeting record in the women's 3,000 race in Oslo, Norway. The Commonwealth Games 5,000 champion sets a new personal best record with 8.25 to emerge victorious and lead a Kenyan sweep of 1-2-3. Gabriela Szabo of Romania held the previous meeting record with 8.27 that was set in 1999. Former world under-18 3,000 champion Lilian Kasait Rangeruk and Margaret Chelimo finished second and third respectively. Rangeruk, who was overtaken by Chebet in the final 200-meter bend, came in second in a personal best time of 8.25, with Chelimo finishing third with another season best of 8.26 to complete a Kenyan 1-2-3 sweep. This is how we are dominating the world, and we give thanks to the Lord, because this has been a very good, say, 2 months. We've broken quite a number of records, with Faith Kipyegon obviously leading the race, leading that momentum towards breaking all records that are in place. We are still waiting for Ferdinand Omanyala. He's still the fastest African. He holds the record for the fastest man in Africa, and is basically going for the #1 in the world. Well, with that, we got to bring down the curtains on this show. Thank you very much for participating in this. Do have yourself a lovely evening. God bless you.